Good morning, students. Yes, dear students, again we are here to discuss the confronting marginalization. Yes, today we will start from laws for the marginalized. As you have read, the government makes laws to protect its citizens, yet, this is not the only way in which it takes action. There are specific laws and policies for the marginalized in our country. There are policies or schemes that emerge through other means like setting up a committee or by undertaking a survey, etc. The government then makes an effort to promote such policies in order to give opportunities to specific groups. Yes, dear students, when the government, or you can say when the Constitution Committee was framing the Constitution, they have to protect the marginalized groups. Means when they saw that lower caste people were ill treated by the upper caste people, and the lower caste people were not allowed to enter in the temples, they were not allowed to get education, so they required some special privileges, or you can say some special laws for the protection of these marginalized groups. And that's why they have introduced some policies or schemes, and the only means of introducing that schemes, that they have to promote education, they have to promote equality between them. Now, the promoting social justice. As part of their effort to implement the constitution, both state and central governments create specific schemes for implementation in tribal areas or in areas that have a high Dalit population. For example, the government provides for free or subsidized hostels for students of Dalit and Adivasis community, so that they can avail of education facilities that may not be available in their localities. So, the government has made hostels for the marginalized groups by which they can live and study, and because uh, they were not getting the proper education and the proper required conditions, and they are also providing some certain facilities. The government also operate through laws to ensure that concrete steps are taken to end inequality in the system. And one such law, or you can say policy is made, one policy is made, and that was the reservation policy. Yes, my dear students, they have adopted the reservation policy, which means they have reserved some seats in education, in government departments, for job, and even in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha also the seats were reserved for them. So that law was made in which seats reserved in education and government employment for Dalits and Adivasis. And I think it was an important in a society like ours, where for centuries, you can say, the lower caste people, they were not getting the proper opportunities in order to develop their skills and vocations. And while living in a democratic government, we needs to step in and assist their sections. Now, here the question arises, how does the reservation policy work? So, the government across India have their own list of SCs or Dalits or STs and the backward and the most backward classes. They have just made one list, and for applying the education institutions and those who are applying for post in government are expected to give the furnished proof of their caste or the tribe status. and they have to deposit their certificates also. And even the government or the educational institutions, they ask the candidate to mention their caste or submit their certificates. If a particular caste or a certain tribe in the government list, the name is mentioned there, so then a candidate from that caste or tribe can avail the benefit of the reservation. And the admission for the colleges, especially to the institutions of the professional education such as the medical colleges, governments, they have also set a cut-off marks list. That means that not all the Dalits or the tribal candidates can qualify for admission, but those who have qualified but reasonably well and secured marks above the cutoff point, only that students can take the admission in that colleges. They also provide some scholarship for the students. So in the further classes you will read that how the reservations were made for the backward classes. And they are also providing some of their new facilities also. So, now the protecting of the rights of Dalits and Adivasis. It doesn't mean that the responsibility of the government is over when they have made the policy. No, my dear students, the making of policy is not means the work is done. They have to enforce the policies. They have to just pin up the mind of the upper caste people that now the minorities, they are getting their rights. Now they have to understand that everybody is getting equal rights in the constitution. That means the government have to protect the rights of the Dalits against the discrimination, exploitation of the marginalized communities. So let us read one of the case that was adopted from a real life account to understand how Dalits use the protection that laws provide. Now I am just reading the case also. The villagers of Jakmalgur are gearing up for a big festival. Yes, my dear student, in this, the upper caste people, they were celebrating one festival in a temple, and they honor their local deity. Here the deity means their god, and many of their neighboring villages, they have also invited for this festival, and it was a 5-day event. So when the ceremony began with a member, so what was the ceremony? A member of the Dalit community washing the feet of all the priests, and then they bath in the same water which was used uh, wa- uh, which was used to wash the feet of the priest. So one family was there, and that family was the Ratnam's family. The Ratnam is a person. So his father, his grandfather, all were doing the same ritual with the priest in that villages, even though they were not allowed to enter in the temple. But all the families of the minorities, they were doing their work. So the Ratnam, he was studying in a college of engineering, and he was just 20 years old, and he refused to follow that ritual. He refused to perform the ritual. He had no faith in that practice. But his family members, they forced him to perform that rituals because they were the Dalits. Now, when the Ratnam refused to do that ritual, all the priests, they showed their anger, and even the other families, those who belong to the Ratnam family, or you can say those who were belong to the lower caste people or the lower caste families, they were also show their anger against the Ratnam, because all the lower caste community, they had a belief that if they refused to do the work, or to perform that ritual. So they were ill treated by the upper caste people, or maybe they were discarded from the village also. So no one can could talk to them. No would no one just they were not allowed to live in their places. But when the Ratnam refused, so some of the upper caste people, they entered in their place and they set fire to their house. Then the Ratnam filed a case against the upper caste people that he was ill treated by the upper caste people because they were all laborers, means the Ratnam family members, they were the laborers, and they always work under that dominant group, means the upper caste group. So how would they survive? They declared that the other family members, they declared that they would not support Ratnam. Even the Ratnam argued with them, but no result was there. So the powerful group, or you can that dominant group, decided to teach Ratnam a lesson. That's why they have set a fire against them. So his family was forced to move out as they continued to be ostracized by the powerful caste in the village. And for the support of the Ratnam, some act has been passed by the government which protect him against the domination and the violence of the powerful caste in the village. So dear student, that was a story of Ratnam, who belonged to a lower caste people, or you can say who belonged to a minority group. And that thing showed a real picture of the life which was passed earlier by the Ratnam and his family. It was very difficult for that people to survive under a dominant group. So up to that it is sufficient, and in our next discussion we will discuss some of the acts, those who are adopted by the government to protect the rights of the minorities. So that is all for the day. Thank you.